3, 2, 1.
Here we go! Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the HerdU podcast. I'm Tessa.
And I'm Adam.
And we are excited you're here. So Adam, how's your week going?
It's going good.
I'm just telling you, I thought I was dying last week. I was man down for the count, and I'm so glad that medicine is available. But y'all be safe out there. Wash your hands.
The crud is bad. Once you get it, man, it's hard to shake it off.
Yeah, and everybody's like, well, at least it wasn't COVID. And I'm like, the COVID I had was pretty simple.
Yeah.
That was bad.
Yeah.
So anyway,
But
I can breathe like again. But you know what? I listened to our last podcast and I could hear it. I was like, I was nasally and I did not even know. And I didn't take my emergency, which I know we've talked about. So that's my bad.
It's on me.
But yeah, that was, I think I slept like probably 36 hours in a day.
Yeah.
Like I didn't go to workout, and James was like, you good? I'm like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
And then on Monday this week I did workout and I literally laid on the floor. It's like, I can't do this.
When you had like a double whammy, you had like an ear infection. Three?
Sinus infection, ear infection, and strep throat.
Yeah, that's not.
It was gnarly.
Gnarly's
it was bad.
Not the word I would have chosen.
Listen, it was bad.
But yeah, so you're a trooper because I go down with strep or anything like that, and I'm like, ask Anastasia. I turn into like, but I can imagine having 3. No,
because I couldn't breathe or swallow. I was
literally sleeping the whole day.
It was bad. It was bad. So
well, anyway. I'm glad you're better.
Yeah, me too. Hey, so I guess there was some like game last night.
Yeah, this is a really good game. So the Texas Rangers, if you guys don't know yet, they've won the World Series for the first time ever in franchise history.
That's crazy.
So I'm a big Rangers fan and have followed them for years and years. So
yeah,
last night was a pretty good moment for us, for the family.
That's good.
We got up and cheered and jumped, stayed up all night. Not really, but we did celebrate with the team. I mean,
I go to bed really early. No, I mean, y'all know that. Like 8:30. Don't text me because I'm not going to answer you. But when I went to bed, it was 0-0, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Fell asleep. And then I woke up to all of our text messages. Yeah. And I was like, congrats, your team won.
It was 0-0 to like the 6th or 7th inning. I think it was the 7th inning.
Wow.
Because their pitcher had a no-hitter. Like nobody had got on base. Actually, one of them, and he walked. But that doesn't count as a hit. So he had a no-hitter up until the 7th inning.
So did they use their best pitchers in this game?
Yeah, they tried to shut us down. I mean, they needed to survive to play tomorrow. Or not tomorrow, but so today would have been, tomorrow. Today would have been the day off. We would have gone to Texas. But, yeah, so they were throwing like their top dog, which this guy was like on point.
Yeah.
It wasn't until we had to see him 3 times. So everybody batted around 3 times until finally somebody got a hit.
Oh, okay.
And then somebody else got another hit. And then finally they pulled him. I think we ended up scoring a run while he was on. So they pulled him. Oh. And put in another guy, and then it
Texas was downhill
bats.
From there.
Yeah, Texas bats just.
So that's okay. So I don't know if this is true. I have a theory. I feel like sometimes professional sports throws games. I don't know, because like it's more money for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was asking James last night. I was like, "Can you really throw baseball?" And he's like, I don't really think you can." He's like, "You could purposely lose a game, but I don't think you could purposely win." Because I was like, "Wouldn't you want to lose this game to bring it back to Texas?" And he's like, "Absolutely not. No. Like you would just want to win it."
Yeah.
So but I feel like basketball, I think they throw stuff.
We had this exact conversation yesterday, Anastasia and I think my father-in-law was there. So anyways, we were talking about it, and she said, well, why don't they just lose it and come back to Arlington and win it there in front of your home crowd? Here's the problem with that. The Rangers lost every home game in the postseason. And so the next 2 or 3 would have been at Arlington. Okay. So we were like, no, we need to win this.
We need to win it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you remember this conversation in the office where you were talking about the Rangers, and of course Dana was talking about the Braves. But she was bragging about like how far ahead they were. And I was like, be humble. Yeah. And you were like, I don't know. The Rangers are kind of playing okay. They can make it.
Yeah.
And her Braves did not make it.
No.
But she ended up going to the game. So that was cool. But I was thinking that. I was like, because if you look at the stats, like literally they should not had.
No.
Like they should be there too with the Rangers.
Right.
So
right. Statistics really in the postseason in October, they don't matter. It just as long as you make it into playoffs,
right.
into the postseason, man, it's anybody's game.
Yeah, and we've talked about that in volleyball. Like it doesn't really matter. It matters what your team is like in November. Like that's really all that matters.
Yeah, you're talking about two teams that barely squeezed in to this, and they both competed in the World Series for the championship.
Yeah, so that made me giggle this morning. I was like, oh, hey, the Rangers run at like 4 a.m. when I woke up. I really wanted to text you guys right then just because, but I waited till 5:40. So I waited till like halfway through my workout. So anyway.
It was a great time. A lot of you guys around the district are probably Rangers fans too, so it was good to see it. I've seen that.
I saw like grown men cry on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's a big deal.
Yeah, no, for sure. I didn't get to the tears thing just yet. Just, I don't know. Anyways, I didn't. But I've got to witness their first World Series. You know, they're
cool.
went in franchise history, so I think that's a pretty.
You're gonna be able to tell all your grandkids about all the teams that you've seen and
we were all together. Josiah was there, Danielle was there.
Perfect.
She got home just in the nick of time. Like she walks in, she runs in, she sits down, and we start watching it. So it was. Anastasia was there watching it.
So whoever they marry has to be a sports fan.
For sure.
Like, could you imagine some like ding dong sitting in the corner and like not even caring about the Eagles or something?
No, for sure. They got like there's two requirements. They gotta love sports. They don't have to love our teams, but they actually they have to put up with us. But
okay, but what if Penny married someone who was a Cowboys fan?
Well, so we've talked about this.
Like, what do you do?
We're gonna have a hard time.
Maybe if he loves Jesus more, that's okay. But Cowboys, I don't know.
We actually did talk about this conversation, but I think we settled to the point where it was like, as long as they're good to you guys,
we'll take them.
They'll be okay.
We can convert them.
Sundays might be a little worrisome,
a little awkward.
Yeah.
That's funny. I just thought of that.
We're a big sports family.
That's funny. So. We're not like that in our house. We're like, meh, that's fine. Like, we love sports, don't get us wrong, but like, it's fine.
I'm fanatic.
Yeah, you stand in the same spot every time.
Yeah. I actually started doing that for the Rangers games in the postseason. So the ones I got to watch, there's some that I had, like we had Friday Night Football one day and I was driving home. I wasn't watching it, but I was listening to it. No, I was listening to it. But I did get home just in time for them to win the ALCS. So anyways, funny. I go to my spot, put my Rangers hat on, put my Rangers jersey on.
That's so funny.
Let's go.
I love that. All right. I don't have a lot of school news to report because I was out almost all last week.
Yeah.
And then I had a TCA board meeting, which was always fascinating and just blows my mind. Just when people come together with a commonality.
Yeah.
And just talk technologies. Like, it's just big, nerdy fun.
So have we told the HerdU fans that you're...
I am on the board of TCEA, which is still fake to me. I'm like, I have my name tag. I'm like, this ain't real. But so I go... we have it like every 3 or 4 months. I go to Austin and we have a board meeting where we talk about like the legislator of like Texas educator news, especially with technology, because there's a lot of things that just like in the regular side of it, like the education side of it, there's a lot of things they think is best, and it's like, guys, y'all can't do that. So that part's really cool. Like, we're an advocate for not only our district but for like everybody in the region, so that's really cool. And then we're preparing for TCEA, the big convention, which is exciting. So there's just a lot to it that I didn't really know went behind the scenes on that stuff. So, and like, as far as an organization goes, there's 20 people who actually work at TCA. And so a lot of our affiliates, they have like 1 to 2 people that work, but like, this organization is amazing. And just the things that they produce for us educationally, legally, I mean, it's just mind blowing.
Yeah. So when we talked about it initially, I didn't know. I knew it was a big thing in Texas, right? TCEA, but I didn't know the magnitude of it, like how big it was. Like when you told me there was 20 employees, I'm like, wow, that's craziness.
Huge. And there are some districts who actually use TCA as their professional development. And so they can hop on anytime and do whatever. I've been really loving the lunch and learns.
Yeah.
So if you are a member already, those are completely free. But it's $39 and you're a lifetime member. Like, we don't kick you out.
Yeah.
It's like, we just want you to be part of it. But like last week's I watched, and it was a Halloween theme one, and it was just so cool. And they do different things like ELAR and science and AI. And so, I mean, they're like 30 minutes long. You don't have to watch it right then. It's a recording. You can come back and watch it, or you can participate live. And it's with their staff members. And it's just, I don't know, they're really good. So
I remember seeing, and I don't know, you correct me if I'm wrong, there was every once in a while they'll have like deals where you can sign up free.
Yeah.
Or is it?
Yeah,
or is
we
it something
just
from, like,
we just had
existing-
one in October, and that one was for like districts.
Yeah.
Like, I really wanted our whole district to sign up. But there are districts that the entire district signs up for it. But in April-ish or May, I think it's May, around Teacher Appreciation, it's another free one where you can, I mean, they do a whole week and you sign up for free. Yeah. So
we'll need to be looking out for that. So
it's really cool. There's just so much that I didn't know.
The benefits of being a member, like you said, they have that forum. Is it a forum? I guess is it what you would call it? So there, people go on there and ask questions.
Yeah.
They'll get
Technically, it's called a community.
Community.
Yeah, it's through Mobilize. It's a TCA community.
Yeah, but I mean, I see questions on there that you can ask and people will answer, and they're really good about
Yeah,
it.
and so they have like a librarian one, they have a teacher one, they have an instructional coach one, they have CTOs. I'm part of that one, and they talk a lot in there, but I've learned, I'm like, hey, did y'all know that we could do this? And anyway, so it's really cool. But yeah, we had that board meeting this weekend, Friday and Saturday, and so it was good.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know. I always feel a lot smarter when I leave those. So anyway,
well, it's a big deal, but we're excited that you're a part of it.
Yeah, it's neat. So, and then I can't wait for TCA. Like, I'm always like, that's gonna be so fun. I'm kind of curious though, because they're doing it Saturday through Wednesday this year, so that's interesting to me.
Yeah, the dates is a little bit different.
Yeah,
but I think it's gonna be okay.
Yeah, the plan was you'd have at least 2 days with no subs. So then you could do still Monday and Tuesday and then go back. So you'd only have 2 days instead of like the 4 or 5 days. So I'm hoping. And there's 800 sessions.
Wow.
800. I was like, what the? So anyway, it's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of great stuff. And they're doing these things. Sorry, I'm just rambling.
No, but
they're doing these things called micro credentials this year where there's like 12 topics. And you spend a whole day at TCA doing it. During the conference or whatever, and then you earn a certificate for it, and like you could teach it, you can I don't know, it's really cool.
Yeah,
so I don't know, might pull up and do that, I don't know, so we'll see.
I've always enjoyed this will be my 4th year going, I guess.
Yeah,
anyways, every time we go, I learn new things. We bring back and implement new
my
stuff.
hope is when I first started this, I got to take a team of teachers, and so I'm hoping we can get back to that.
Yeah.
Like that's my hope, is like 1 or 2 people who are interested from each campus. Yeah. And I'm hoping we can travel, but like there's been a little different funds, because of COVID and all that kind of stuff. We've been a little limited on the traveling, but I'm just glad it's built into my work description or whatever. So I'm like, yes, but I would get to go anyway because I'm on the board now. So sure. But anyway, but also, sorry, this is random too, if you volunteer, it's completely free.
Ooh.
So if you volunteer for 2 4.5 hour slots, and I mean, you get to, if you volunteer, there's different options. You can actually scan the thing and then you get to participate in that session.
Yeah.
Or you can be like the person who directs or whatever, but they'll waive your fee. So then it's free and all you have to do is travel to get there.
Yeah.
If the district paid for that or whatever.
Yep.
So.
And it's always in Texas.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
there's a way to always get around it. So this year's in San Antonio, or I'm sorry, this year's in Austin. And then the next like 3 years is going to be San Antonio because Austin's getting a facelift, and then it will be back in Austin.
Cool.
So yeah. So it's.
I remember. So I've only done San Antonio, and then I did one in Dallas. That one was crazy because of the location, I think.
Yeah.
But man, they're just amazing. Like I have fun doing it.
They're a lot of fun.
Yeah,
and it just gets you all excited about technology.
You come back and you're pumped up, and then you bring new ideas, like, hey, look at this, look at what we learned over there. And
okay, so I'm gonna say this on this podcast. On Thursday, November 2nd, we're teaching next year. Okay.
Oh man.
It's because you said we were gonna do it this year and we didn't do it, so next year. And should we tell them kind of what we plan?
I think so.
Okay, so we're also going to do a podcast not live, but a podcast from the convention center. Yeah, on that day. So kind of talk about like what we've learned and maybe get some people in to talk with us. I don't know yet, so we'll see.
I'm going to find a little spot in the lobby so you get to see people walking behind us.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
How we're going to travel with all the equipment, I'm not really sure, but we'll figure it out.
We're going to...
Hopefully it doesn't get lost or anything. Dear Lord, please do not lose our equipment.
No, I think some of it will get to carry on, but
yeah, so I'm really excited about that. But anyway, all right. So Adam, what's the new scoop?
New scoop. Okay, so I was talking to a administrator about it, and I'll go ahead and tell her name because she's actually the one that started this. So Jana Price at Northwest approached us and talked about Bard. From Google. If you don't know what Bard is, it's an AI feature that's built in with Google. It's actually created by Google. Right. The only thing it's in the beta stages, so it's in the experiment stages of it. And initially, it wasn't available in our workspace, Google Workspace. But we've actually, Dana and all of us, the team discussed it, and we've decided that it's probably a good thing for teachers to start looking into it. But it's Google's version of ChatGPT, if you will. Correct. It's got some other neat little features. I mean, we were kind of playing around with it. So so James and I went to look at a house yesterday, and I don't think we're gonna get it, but so I just took a screenshot of the front porch. They have an image option, which is kind of cool. This is not work related. It's fine. But I was like, well, let's see what it does. And so I said, how would you decorate this porch with the image? And then it took me to like different articles such as Pinterest, I can't, like House and Home or whatever, I can't remember what it was called. And it gave you different ideas of like, oh, you can put the plant in this area, or wreath looks really nice on a door or something like that. So educationally wise, we were talking about, because Adam's like, that's great, but how can you use it in the education field? Like when I taught fourth grade, we worked a lot with how do we use adjectives to describe things. So we could take a picture of just a basic object in my classroom and upload that as a group activity. And we could even cross-reference like, okay, well, we'll use this one. Or, hey, we never thought about this one. Let's add this to our word wall, kind of a thing. But I would assume, and we didn't test this out, like that's what you guys get to do. So, you could do something like, can you create a math problem from this picture, real life situations type things with it. So yeah. And I also liked, another feature I liked is that you could share with it. So if you, like a lot of times people use ChatGPT to come up with ideas for enrichment, like how we have those days built in. So you could do that with Bard, and then there's a share option where you could share it with your teammates because it's all in Google. Or you could create a doc and share it that way. And so then it lives in your drive. Yeah. And at that point you can collaborate.
Right.
So you can go add things, you can do your own search in Bard and then share it to that same doc. So it's a really neat deal for collaboration. Right. As far as your team goes.
Correct.
But
it just makes me nervous because it is in beta phase. Like, I don't know. But definitely try it and see, like, what are they going to add to it? What are they going to take away? Because what if I really love a feature and they take it away? Like, I hate when they do that. Yeah. And I don't think they'll charge for it. I really don't. I think as long as it's in our workspace, it's fine. But it is enabled only for educators. It's not for our students.
So it's for the Hereford ISD domain. So if you just make sure you sign in with your Hereford ISD credentials, and it'll tie into your account.
Yeah, because I think they talked about at their educational thing they did at Region 16. Because I got a couple texts about it. And I was like, oh, hey, that's really cool. But we didn't really know much about it then.
And I think when we initially talked about it, we were at the AI conference with Matt Miller.
Yes.
And he talked about it. And so we tried to play around with it. And of course it wasn't enabled.
Yeah, we didn't have anything.
And we didn't know enough about it to enable it there. So we talked about it as a team, and we just...
Yes, because contrary to what some people believe, it really is a process. We don't just like flip the switch hey, let's just do this. But it really is... That's what we had a meeting yesterday, and we talked about that. Like, whether or not to allow something or to block something isn't just a easy... yeah, y'all can do that. Like it goes through a committee, a process, like how can this relate with the TEKS?
Yep.
Is it safe? There's a whole process with stuff. And I know sometimes people get frustrated with us with that, but it really is. There's a process to it. There's a lot to think about.
For sure. The deal with these apps is they take information, right? Whenever you sign into it, you're using your name, your credentials, and they grab that information to create you an account.
Right.
The problem is sometimes you don't know what information they're grabbing. Mm-hmm. So we always do our research and we make sure, okay, what are you looking at? What's the scope of permissions that
right.
you're asking for? And if we feel like it's okay for us to use it, then we'll approve it. But
right.
but it just doesn't come from me. So if you send me a request, just know that we're working on it. But it's just not me.
You're the bad guy.
Yeah,
no, I'm just kidding.
But no, we really do.
Yeah,
discuss
no,
it
it's a whole thing. Like it's a whole process that sometimes takes hours or days.
Well, listen, anything that has to do with I'm all over it, right? But if I don't do my due diligence, like if I don't get another perspective, hey, well, let's look at this part of it. And if I just approve it, then I can get us in trouble.
And there's a lot of us who use our computers for personal things.
Yeah.
Okay. And so if you have not been safe with that, which there's some who have not been, they can completely wipe you out.
Yep.
Like if we're just like, oh yeah, that looks great. Let's try it. And we haven't searched that. Like you could lose bank info. I mean, like there's a lot of stuff that could happen. So it's not just we're being mean or we don't really like that tool. That has nothing to do with it. No. There's just a lot that goes into it. So, but yeah, I'm excited about Bard to play around with. I prefer ChatGTP. That's just because that's what I used first. And that's what I've done the most research on, but I'm excited to kind of dive into Bard and see what it looks like.
Oh, for sure.
So.
And it's fairly new to us. So we don't have a whole lot of information of it, but we did want to throw it out there so you guys can start using it.
That it is open now.
Yeah.
So
it's enabled.
Have fun.
And it should be bard.google.com. So I go to that URL.
And it doesn't live in like our app section. No. Oh, it might now. Will it now that you've accepted it?
Let me see. No, we can check it, but if it doesn't, just know there's that URL bard.google.com. You can actually even type it into the search bar and just put Bard Google.
Yeah, I just did Bard Google.
Yeah. But try it out and test it out and see what you guys come up with and share it with us because some of this stuff, if you get some tips or like new scoop from the episode and you do something, you're like, oh, hey, they might need to know about this or they might want to know about it.
It's not in there.
Then shoot it back to us. Shoot us an email about it and be like, hey, this is what I tried. Check it out.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about it.
Faux show. Yeah. All right. So let's move on to Command Control S. I forget that every time. Command Control S. Okay. So this is something that I like to use. And it is a finder because sometimes we have emails that go back and forth, and it kind of starts going down lower on the list. So if you push on a Mac, Command F, a little bar will pop up and you can type in something to search. So this isn't like a search bar like you want to go to a website or anything. This is like if you need to find content. So maybe if you didn't clean out your Google Drive during our Drive series and your Drive is an absolute disaster and you're like, I know I had something in here. I need to find that. On your Mac, you can do Control F and you can type in like maybe I'm looking at policies. Ooh, why? That was a bad option. Anyway, so maybe I'm looking at policies and I know that we just worked on a policy. So I will type that in and it will highlight everything that has the word containing policies. And so what else is cool is it will tell you like 1 out of 14. And then there's not a drop down arrow, but there's an up arrow and a down arrow. And if you click on that, it will literally go through each deal. Like it won't open it up, but it just shows you where it is.
And it highlights it.
Yes, it highlights it. So everything will be highlighted. Mine's orange, which I don't really like that color. So I'm kind of curious if other people's are different colors.
So mine's yellow.
Not fair.
But I don't know.
I don't know how you change that. And then on a Windows machine, it's Control F. And it's the same exact thing. You just type in what you're looking for, like maybe I'm looking for HerdU stuff or a HerdU email like with Power School. So I would type in HerdU and anything that had that, I could go through my emails and find that. So that is also a tip that you could use for students because it works on their Chromebooks as well. So let's say you give them a passage that you want them to read, but you want them to find a date, I don't know, or something like that. So they can do the what is it on the Chromebook? I didn't look at that. Is it Control?
It should be Control, yeah.
Control F. They type it in, and then throughout that passage, they can find where that part is located, or if they're looking for a character or something like that. So they can do that as well. Or if your kids aren't good, they don't ever read your emails, because I've heard that a lot. Like, our students aren't reading the emails. Naughty kids. They can search that way to find an email from you.
Yeah.
So, or whatever, or topic or whatever. So that is something I use actually quite often, because I don't really have time to sit there and sort through things. It just makes it faster for me.
For sure.
So yeah.
Yep, it's
I
a
like
nice
that
little,
one.
and it's universal through all programs. So
Right.
if you're in Google Docs, if you're in Excel, if you're whatever you're on in any computer,
Right.
just remember for Windows is Control F and for
Yes.
Mac is Command F.
Yes.
So use it up.
Yeah, use it. And
That's
tell
a
me
nice
what
one.
you're highlighted, because if you're a different color, I'm going to ask Google, how can I fix that? I'd be like, well, it's not Google. I guess it's technically who would be the owner of that? Who would I even contact to switch my color?
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm gonna Google it and be
Yeah.
like, how do I switch my Control F highlighter color?
Yeah.
See what it does.
What color would you pick? Purple.
I love purple. I also like this blue that we have. I love that blue.
Oh, yeah.
I would want something that pops out. I just don't like orange.
Yeah.
It just, ugh. I don't know. Some people like it, and I apologize if I've offended you. Don't email me. But orange is not my favorite.
No.
So anyway,
Only if it was burnt orange, maybe.
no. If it was a lighter color like pink, that would be better.
Okay.
So anyway.
I'll give you
All
that.
right. Well, that's all I have for that. So Adam, what are you loving? I feel like I might know the answer to this.
Well, I'm loving the first franchise
I know. So cool.
World Series trophy that the Rangers
Are you going to
bringing
get
home.
a like memorabilia for your office? Because you have the bobbleheads and a baseball.
No, for sure I will. So every year that like my teams go to the national championship, whatever championship, I get their hats. Or like if it's a conference hat, like if they want it, I get that hat. And then if it's the World Series or the Super Bowl, I get that hat too. So
Okay.
there's two different hats. But I always get it and I store those. I keep those. Those are my keepsakes.
Yeah.
So I'll probably get that for sure. I'll look for bobbleheads. I'll look for all kinds of stuff too. But yeah, I'm gonna get something.
That's awesome.
Put in my office.
That'll be fun.
But I'm enjoying this win.
Okay. So you think Dana will get something?
I don't know.
I'm curious.
This is her number 2 team, so she might.
We'll have to
Her-
ask her when we go to the
her
office.
office is
I'm
all
like,
decked out with
listen,
Brave stuff.
are you going to put a Texas Ranger thing in there?
I have yet to see any Texas Rangers things
I
in
know,
here,
but
and
it's the World Series.
And she says it's her number 2 team. So
See.
we're gonna have to ask her.
We finna find out.
Yeah.
We'll see what she says.
Yeah.
So, okay. So this is what I'm loving. So Kyler has been playing golf, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's not really great. Like I don't. Like he works so hard at it. And bless his heart. Like I don't. Tatum kind of got like all of that. I don't know. It's just like Tatum just picked something up and could do it. So
Yeah.
like Kyler has to really, really work. And so, he decided that he didn't want to play football or basketball, which made us really sad because that's just what you do in Hereford. You play football, right?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Like that's just what it is. So it was kind of a hard thing for us. But I'm like, we pushed Tatum so hard where I'm the complete opposite of Kyler, where I'm like, you don't want to do it, that's fine. So like I didn't really have a good balance with that because I saw the ramifications of Tatum, like just the breakdowns and stuff.
Yeah.
So we really haven't pushed him. So I was like, oh, if you don't want to play, that's fine. That's whatever. So he decided to pick up golf in May. Never played. Like, I mean, we'd go out with James, but like he was awful. And so we're like, well, golf's not really going to be a sport either.
Yeah.
I'm not saying this is a sport or whatever, but it has just been so fun to see excitement, if you will, because he has always lived in her shadow. Mm-hmm. Like she's got all the awards and they won a national championship and she's like made varsity on all of her sports the first year and has interviews and like, I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous to be honest.
Yeah.
And then there's Kyler and it's like,
Yeah.
and like he always would get it all the time. Like you're Tatum's brother, like kind of making fun of him. And like,
sure.
They're not trying to be like ugly, but it's just different,
Yeah.
And so he had a tournament on last Thursday and he was one of the only freshmen that got to, well, the only freshman who got to go. He qualified to go. And he shot a 94, which I know, listen, he's only been playing for like 4 months, okay? Like, that's not a great shot. But if you could have seen him when I picked him up, like, he's probably gonna make me cry. Like, just the smile of one finally breaking 100, okay? But actually being somewhat successful in it, like that, for this kid, is amazing. Yeah. And so, and they're in the off season now, and but I just love seeing that for him. Yeah. And golf's a thing that he can play. Like, I apologize now to his future wife because we're in the golf world, and it's hard when your spouse is gone playing golf all the time or whatever. And I get it's a fun sport to go hang out and have the tournaments. I'm not saying that, but I don't know. I'm happy for him. Yeah. And like, I don't know. So that's what I'm loving.
That's so good.
So
he's worked hard for it, though. I mean, to go from not playing it to now, that's not easy to do. No. You're talking about months.
Yeah, like he on his birthday, May 17th, decided, I want to start playing golf. And I'm like, well, you do what? So like, and he's out there all the time in the backyard playing all the time. I don't know, I'm just proud of him and just happy for him. So,
and it's always fun when you can say, I have one that's a natural athlete, right? Natural born athlete. But when somebody works hard to get better, that's just as good. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because you actually had to do work to get to be that point. So it's exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited for him. So anyway, so that's what I'm loving. And we'll see how this spring goes. I don't know. But I guess he finally got a golf hat. Like, he hasn't taken it off. Yeah. It's like just, I don't know. Yeah. And he's not on varsity, or anything like that. But like the fact that so that was one of the things he came bebopping in. He's like, look what I got today. And it was a golf hat. Like, it's nothing fancy, but it said Hereford Golf on there. Yeah. And I don't know. Anyway, so.
That's so good.
Yay for golf, I guess. All right. So that's all I have.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Playoffs started. Football will be starting soon. So y'all be safe traveling, and we're all the good stuff.
In the middle of volleyball playoffs. So.
Gold ball season is my favorite.
Yes.
Every freaking send-off. Guess who's crying?
Yeah.
I don't know. I might not even know anybody who's in the send-off, but I'm like, tears. I just love that. So
it's an exciting time. Hereford does really good about supporting their student athletes.
Well, not even student, like when our speech team went, or like when our band goes, for sure. Or the choir, like just the send off is awesome.
Just rouse up behind everybody, and we cheer them on. Yeah. No matter who's.
So, okay, this is not Hereford, but when Tatum and them came back from the national tournament, right? Have I told you the story about what it looked like?
No.
Okay. So they brought back every single bus driver that drove them. And their main one, his name's Bob. He lives in the San Angelo area, but he drives up to drive them specifically.
Oh, wow.
Like, we love Bob. Okay. Like, Bob's like family member. So all of them were at the airport to pick them up. So there were 6 buses for one team. And of course, they were on Bob's bus. So it comes in. So all these buses. So the music's playing. You can hear it. Like, we are the champions, right? So the buses are coming in. And we're like, did they all separate? Like, what happened? And I start bawling. When I see the bus, I start bawling. Okay. So the bus is coming in. And the music's playing. And we're like, there's 1 bus, 2 bus, 3. So we get to the 6th bus. And it's the girls. So the bus is all parked. And then this one comes. I'm hysterically sobbing. Like, I won the national championship. I was like those grown men last night with Texas.
Yeah.
Hysterically sobbing. Nose is red. I can't even speak. Can't even form words. The girls get off the bus. Like, so I'm very sentimental when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah.
I would cry every high school one when we have our pans. Patsy, ding, 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 with all the pans. I'd cry.
Yeah.
Like, oh, get over it. But I still cry. My kid's like not even innocent off. Like they did the volleyball one the other day. Cried. So anyway.
There's another one today. So
I know.
You might get to cry to that one too.
Probably I will. And then when y'all post it online, I'll cry again. Yes. So anyway. All right, guys. Well, we hope you have the best week ever. And we'll catch y'all later. So all right. Bye, guys.